Previously on the never-ending downfall of João Félix.
Sí, que renuncié a una cantidad significativa de dinero.
Quando eu estou feliz, ele está feliz, apoia-me imenso.
Barcelona right now don't have the money to sign João Félix permanently.
Another season has gone by, yet the saga continues. 1 year ago, I was talking about how João Félix was finished, and how after his loan spell with Chelsea, his future looked uncertain to say the least. Fast forward an entire season with his dream club, and I think it's safe to say that his career is looking as healthy as Joe Biden. In this video, I'll continue exploring the never-ending downfall of João Félix, what went wrong in 2023-2024, and in the end, I'll give you a sneak peek of what his future might look like. So without further ado, let's get right to it. In the beginning of his stint with Barca, everything was going well. João Félix bagged 3 goals and 1 assist in his first 2 matches as a starter for Las Culés, which made him the most productive Barca debutant of the last decade. Those performances earned him a starting 11 spot, but then he got comfortable and became a ghost on the field for the next 2 months until he returned, ironically, to score in 2 consecutive matches against the teams that he loves the most in his world, FC Porto and Atlético. That was in early December. After that, he only scored 5 other goals, and as the season came closer to the end, he received less and less game time. And honestly, it was the best thing Barca could have done. Only after he was dropped from the starting 11 did Barca manage to surpass Girona in the table. I know current day Barca isn't at the level of what you saw in the early 2010s, but there's absolutely no way a winger who scores 7 La Liga goals should be given anything more than a fringe player role. Besides, even if you completely ignore his underwhelming numbers, you'd still be left with a dribble that always fumbles the last pass or shot, a guy who neither presses nor defends, that always dives at the weakest touch, and perhaps the worst part of it all is that even with his career basically on the line, he can get his shit together and show the whole world how great he can be. He never did, he never does, and I doubt that he ever will. Furthermore, João Félix is kind of at a crossroads right now that he can't be blamed for. Since Atlético have invested so much in him and gave him a yearly wage of 14.5 million euros, it's almost impossible for him to find a suitable team. The clubs that can afford them prefer to invest their money on proven players or in fresh talent, and the clubs that would actually see him as an option can't afford his transfer fee nor his wages. But Félix got a few things working in his favor. The first thing that comes to mind is his agent. Jorge Mendes is arguably the most efficient agent in the world, as season after season he manages to find jobs for the most incompetent managers and players, and Félix isn't an exception to that rule. Last season he was able to negotiate a loan to La Liga rivals Barcelona, a move that initially reduced his salary to just 400,000 euros a season, but that was just to bypass La Liga's strict financial rules. In reality, he still earned around 4 million euros during his time with Barca. Besides, Atlético is desperately trying to get rid of him. At this point, I doubt anyone in Atlético still believes they can even get half of their money back. No sports director in their right mind would approve paying 60 million euros for a nearly 25-year-old whose only consistent season happened 5 years ago in the modest Portuguese league. The dream scenario for Atlético is a Saudi club wanting to take him for publicity, but if you've been paying attention to their business, most of their moves tend to be on free agents or for less than 50 million euros. The only exceptions to what I just said were Neymar, who left for 90 million euros, Otavio and Malcolm, who left their respective clubs by 60 million euros, and their latest acquisition, Moussa Diaby. However, that Diaby transfer could actually benefit both Félix and Atlético because it opens up a spot in a club with money to invest. Aston Villa could actually pay Atlético 60 million euros, but will they want to splurge all of the money they just received on a player who did nothing in England in the 6 months he was there? The villains want to start a project, and they need a star player, but the last time a club looked at Félix as that guy, they just became 120 million poorer. This is what's currently on the table for Félix. Of course, much dire scenarios could still occur, such as him rotting on Atlético's bench for 6 months, but I don't believe that's going to happen. When I look at Félix, I see a lot of similarities to young Ricardo Quaresma. Quaresma never excelled at Inter, Chelsea or Barca, but when he played in places where he was adored by the fans, he fooled you into thinking he could be one of the best in the world. But in the end, can you really say he had a bad career? Sure, he was never seen as a world-class player other than his first stint with Porto, but he became a cult figure for Portuguese, Turkish and many other fans around the world. Quaresma played a big role in Portugal's Euro 2016 win and scored a banger in his first and only World Cup when he was already 34. And do you know what he said when the curtains were closed on him? He said he could have done much more at Barca, that he could have been more humble and used his time as a substitute to develop and learn from those who knew more than him. Félix is the same age as me. I'm sure he also grew up loving Quaresma's trivelas and dribbles given his playing style and origins. So I wonder, why doesn't he listen to someone who's been in his shoes before? If he does, he can still salvage his career and go down as a beloved figure in football. Otherwise, he'll continue to disappoint everyone in his path and end up as one of the biggest what-ifs in football history. Now the question stands, will I return to this topic next year, or will João Félix finally get his shit together? Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications for Throne FC so you never miss the best football content on all of YouTube. Thanks for sticking with me until the end, I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next one.